Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and thank you for joining this panel, session 5, which is on local and global community engagement. My name is Meghna Tare, and I am the moderator for this panel. I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer for University of Texas at Arlington. So I'm based in Dallas, Texas, USA, and I'm honored to be part of this group here who are talking about global engagement and how you can bring youth into this conversation about sustainability and sustainable development. I just got back from COP, and it has been exciting to see how the voice of the youth are driving climate action. And so it's good to be part of this conversation where we are figuring out how is the future oriented using sustainable development or sustainability as a guiding principle, and our panelists are going to share some concrete examples of their works, their case studies, their assumptions, and what are their ideas for a better future in terms of community engagement. So we'll hear from three groups of panelists who will talk about their projects. The first one is Zainal, who is the founder and the director for a regional center of expertise, which I can relate to because Texas launched a regional center of expertise, which is a United Nations university program. And we have Qjiel, who is with the Philippines, talking about a program called Ladders to Literacy. And then the final group is with Monica, Ravi, and Qjiel, who are going to talk about their global citizenship program called IGO and how they have done the implementation of the project, including youth in the conversation. So without further ado, we have 12 to 13 minutes of presentation by each panelist, and then we'll allow some times for Q&A. If you have questions as you move and listen through the panels, please free to put it out in the chat because we have somebody who will moderate the chat to come up with the questions. And we look forward to engaging session and discussions. So Zainal, if you want to start with your slides,
Yeah.
we are ready.
Yes, Meghna, thank you. You were saying we've got 12 minutes for each one? Is that
12 to 13, yeah.
okay?
Take
All
your
right.
time, no
Okay.
rush, yeah.
Yeah, that's more than enough. All right. Thank you, Thank you, Meghna. Thank you, everyone. It's nice sessions to be in, especially if you recall the previous slot and sessions that Zul is talking about what we have done before. And I am more of reporting what is on the ground at the moment. Yeah. As an introduction, when Meghna says that what are we doing with the students on getting the students to be really carrying out the community engagement, sustainability work on the ground, we are proud to share that we've got each students, first year and second year students, for them to be doing 3 courses on sustainable development, and the 2 courses which is called Usrah in Actions. It's a family in actions. 2 courses of that is really making them going to the ground, starting with doing profiling in terms of sustainable development. And the second semester is whereby they will be doing the projects itself, meaning that this is a real experiential learning that they are taking. Yes, they do have classes in the normal classroom, but that is just a small part of it. But the whole exercise is on the ground, meaning that they really have got to carry out. And that means that for each semester, there will be 4,000 students working on like 100 projects for each semesters on the ground, surrounding the university's areas and also the other campus as well. And this is a compulsory subject. I think we are the first university that make it really compulsory to each one to undergo the sustainable development classes. What are the areas that they're working on? I think this is where I would like to share, just to see that how what kind of issues that they are in terms of projects that they are doing at the moment. Okay, this is where I got stuck. Okay, let me I hope this will help us. All right, Meghna, just to check, do you get the PowerPoint on?
Yes, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So as we know very well that these are the 3 issues that is everyone familiar with. But what I would like to highlight from here is how that in the Malaysia context, maybe in comparison to other countries, that the students are working mostly, many of the projects that the students work with the community are based on the social aspect. That means the socio-economic issues of sustainability in the communities surrounding the universities, especially, right? And not doesn't mean that they don't talk about the economics and environment, but most of the projects is like addressing those marginal group of people, the poverty issues, urban poor issues, and we go into a bit more detail. These are the areas, just to illustrate that within that social context, these are the among the topics, among the theme that the students are working with. Yeah, and each of the sections, we've got like 100 sections of that 3,000 students. There are 100 sections, and each section will have different faculties of students. They may come from engineering, they may come from science, they may come from medical, may come from social science, but they are put into one group of 20 students to go down to the community, approach the community, find out what is their, do their situational analysis in terms of sustainable development issues, and then identify what can be done. And this project is not a one-off, one semester project. They will be doing another, once this group of students are done, the next batch of students will be picking up where the issues are left or where the projects are left. So we are making sure that it's not just about community engagements as per service kind of thing, meaning that one-off or ad hoc projects. It's a continuous projects that it will reach to the level of whereby the students can, the community can be independent. We were looking at transformations of that particular community that the students are working on. So that's what we mean by is more of like transformations of the student learning process and the transformations of the community as well. So that is how the students are being structured to go down, interaction, transdisciplinary, and really exercising the knowledge that they get from their respective department or faculty. Yeah. To illustrate further, to just give a bit more feel of what we are doing, let me share another thing that is based on Google Earth. Again, to check Meghna, can you see the Google Earth map instead of the PowerPoint just now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So here are the list of projects. So this is the, to me personally, the interesting part of this, whereby as I was saying, there are 100 projects, from different aspects of sustainable development issues. Yeah. So we have this database of projects that what is happening there, which group of students are working on it, what stage the community projects are there, what are the issues of sustainability or sustainable development is happening there. So if you look at this one, let's say, for example, now if I click, so this is the area surrounding the universities. Yeah, if I click on this one, you would have the name of the projects. Okay, maybe I give another more generic one. Yeah, wait, let me check. Okay, all right. Maybe not this one. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, all right. For example, this one. Yeah. So in these areas, this Sri Sarawak, there is a group of students, one section of students who are attending to a children's home. And in this children's home, the project is called Islamic Social Financial Literacy. So what is happening is that the students will be going there, doing profilings of the children who are staying there, and also the community surrounding that home, and then start teaching the skill of Islamic financial literacy with them. So we've got this database, and the students are really focusing on doing changes in that group of community. So we do have another project as well. So you get to see from here, there are several. Let me click another one, for example. So this one is a project in our campus that is called Healthy Aging for Sejahtera Community. So here, what will happen is that a group of students from Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Allied Health, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, students from Nursing Faculty gets together in one class, working on the solutions for that particular community. So you can see how this group of students are really addressing a very issues that come out from the process of profiling the community. It's not something that they feel. It's something that is based on what they found for one semester working with that community. So the next semester, like this semester, this particular semester, so this is the time that they really execute the projects. So you can see there are different kind of projects that you will have, like ranging from the economics issues, social environmental issues. But like I said just now, given the context of what socio-economic backgrounds of the Malaysian community is, most of these projects are looking at the social issues, the socio-economics issues, the health issues, and one of the most popular one is that the students are giving a tuitions for those poor students who can't afford to go tuition to get extra classes for them. So if you click further to all these projects, there will be different kind of projects that the students are doing. For example, another example that I thought would be quite interesting to see is that this one is with the what we call the indigenous people. So we've got a group of students who are going to a number of villages around, if not mistaken, 300 indigenous people. And what they do is to look at the holistic development of the students, of the children there, and the families as well. So there will be one group who will be working on the education aspect. The medical students will be working at the health aspect. So this is how, so I hope that gives enough illustrations of how the students are doing on the ground, that I now would like to put it in the context of our discussions now. So picking up from the previous sessions and the interest of how we really want to get the students no longer being scoped by their disciplinary perspective, they are now being forced somehow to really talk to each other, who come from different disciplines, which is not a common practice, especially in Malaysia, because they're so disciplinary based. But of course, it comes with a lot of challenge. To put out this, you require like 100 lecturers to attend to this 3,000 group of students and 100 projects. And then the interesting part is that this is how we leave to the students to handle the community questionings and the funding aspect, because they need to get funding as well in order to carry out the projects. So we thought that this is the platforms that really test them, the knowledge that they have onto the ground. We come in just to facilitate the students' learning process. So in summary, we found that this is, when we talk about learning to do, the UNESCO pillar, we've been telling them a lot about learning to know. But what is not happening is the three remaining things: learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together. So through these platforms, they're really left on their own. Little facilitated by us, monitoring by us as well. They are left on their own to organize how do you want to get there, and how do you want to deal with the families. So that is where sometimes they come back to us with interesting remark, that they say that, "Doctor, for the past 3 years, I've been learning about poverty and etc. But it's never the same when we spend 3 hours with the community, looking by their own eyes how is the living conditions, how they live. Very water supply that is not there, electricity supply that is not there. So in the classes, they thought the very beautiful thing, but when they go down to the ground, this is where they get to really see. And then they come back to us with questions that we thought they should know about it, but not until they get down to the ground, then only the learning process that takes over. And last part that I would like to share is that in these subjects on this course, there's no exam, so they have no pressure for that, and it's a lot more of reflective journal that they've got to write. And this reflective journal, we strongly encourage them, either one, to write to the newspaper, two, to updates in social media to get engagement. And one of the most important assessments for this one will be the community impact. So they need to somehow document what the community think about the projects that they are doing. So we thought that this is a bit of like, for us, is a bit of disruptive, positive disruptive of educations. But so far, after two batch of them, the feedback is good. Although, of course, they would say that it's quite unconventional comparing to the other classes that they've got to go through. Yeah, because just for discussion sake, we know how the credit system in the university. Yeah, but this subject doesn't give a lot of credits. It's just like one credit compared to a technical subject on engineering and etc. 3 credit. But the students was complaining. Some of them were complaining that we're working so hard just to get 1 credit, and the other subject you're just sitting in the classroom, which for the knowledge that you can get from Google, you get 3 credits for that. So this is the kind of challenge, Meghna, that we've got to go through. But so far, I think they enjoy it, especially after they were room for 2 years under COVID. So when they get to go out, they'll get excited about it. They forget the learning process. They just enjoy meeting the people. Yeah, but we always bring them back that this is not time for fun, but this is how we got to figure out the future society. I mean, the realities out there is the realities that you are facing now, not necessarily something that you see in the classroom. So with that, I guess that's enough to illustrate what we've been doing for the past 1 year since last year conference. And just to complement more what Prof. Zul just now and the students was talking about. So that Nabila is one of the students that attending to one of the projects on the refugees. So I'm providing the bigger framework picture of what we've been doing. So thank you very much, Meghna. I look forward to hearing good practice from others as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zainal, for those powerful words and inspiring presentation. It's really important to take the students out of their comfort zone, especially, post-pandemic when everybody has started to kind of live in a bubble. And I think experiential learning is the best way to teach students, taking your education outside of the classroom, because once they graduate, that's where the real world is, right? And so, like Helen said, the UNESCO Pillars of Education is something I think that you have been using as a guiding principle for your students, learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be. And I think that is how education for youth should be focused. So thank you so much for those amazing words and that amazing presentation. I really love the map that you showed. I was intrigued by one of the project which was about fish farming. So I'll pick your brain later about that.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. So our next panelist is Qjiel. He's the student with the University of Santo, Tomas, Philippines. And he leads and implements a program called Ladders to Literacy. So I will invite him to talk about his project and inspire us. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Qjiel, we don't hear you yet.
Hi, Qjiel. Maybe you could close your tab and reopen it. Sometimes it solves sound problems. Like close and come back. Maybe it can help. Can you hear us? Yes or no?
Sorry, Meghna.
Yeah.
I wonder if while Qjiel is restarting his laptop, should we maybe or other colleagues if they're ready?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think we can, if Monica, Ravi, and Qjiel's team is ready to talk about their IGO project, perhaps we can do that while Qjiel can figure out the technical problems at his end.
Sure. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You'll see another Qjiel. Oh, Qjiel is already there.
Okay, let's see if Qjiel's now good to go.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
Yes,
we can
finally.
see.
Okay, amazing. Okay. Thank you so much. So, hello everyone. So, my apologies for that technical difficulty, but I'm Qjiel. I was formerly a student from the University of Santo Tomas, but I decided to take the leap of faith to transfer to York University under the Faculty of Health in the Global Health Program. It's because I was enticed with that saying that global health challenges do not recognize borders. And I think that goes the same with all kinds of problems in the world. Climate change, poverty, they do not choose race, they do not choose an age, they do not choose sex. Everyone is affected by all of these global challenges. And my passion project called Ladders to Literacy started inside a cemetery. Could you believe that a public cemetery in the Philippines hosts 4,000 families living in extreme poverty? So, Sir Michael will be sharing the video I sent to him, and I hope you guys could learn something from my talk, and I hope we could work together in the future. So, thank you to my dear colleagues at York.
Bata, alam mo ba yung Sustainable Development Goals? The COVID-19 pandemic hindered a lot of opportunity for the world, especially the children. The sudden closure of schools has become a challenge for children to acquire quality education. With this, Speech to Schools acted to continually champion literacy despite these hindrances. And so this is Ladders to Literacy.
Ladders to Literacy promotes participatory solution making with the children and the community. In consideration of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, we aim to let our children know that they are part of the solution. This is to develop children's potentials and discover learning through various and creative ways. The most involved stakeholders, the children, should not be mere beneficiaries but rather active participants for change. We hope to empower them so that they may empower themselves. This initiative also utilizes an inter-university approach as we mobilize students, faculty, and alumni from different universities and colleges to champion literacy. With the involvement of the different colleges of the University of Santo Tomas and volunteers from different universities, we were able to convey our goals and advocacy to a wider range of audiences.
Ladders to Literacy is formed storytelling sessions that teach children the need for social distancing and the use of facial masks during these COVID times. Ladders to Literacy, forming bridges, filling gaps.
This approach is also interdepartmental as different colleges would be overseeing specific aspects of the project that concern their area of discipline. Likely, the College of Education will translate into local dialects, the College of Fine Arts and Design will illustrate the storybook, the College of Rehabilitation Sciences will convert the storybook into beer for the visually impaired, and so on. Ladders to Literacy maximizes the use of social media in providing stakeholders with quality and relevant information on the importance of education in the lifelong learning process. Learning is never a journey with an exact destination. Every person, child, and adult can learn new things with each passing day. Adults can also learn new things by reading and communicating with their children. Through the published storybooks, children and parents can learn the sustainable development goals in their own homes. Together, they can empower themselves and their neighbors to address the needs of the goals for the sake of the future generations. Ladders to Literacy believes that participatory engagement and social change can start at home. We believe in the UNESCO advocacy that we should place vulnerable groups in the core of lifelong learning. And in the case of our partner community in Manila North Cemetery, we were able to produce a storybook called Renchillina that recounts the stories of children cleaning their environment in the Manila North Cemetery. Moving forward, the project foresight is to produce storybooks by the children, as this will be the greatest testament of their writing abilities and the literacy training they have climbed with the Ladders to Literacy training.
Furthermore, the stories they make revolve around their understanding of the concept of sustainable development goals, which will ripple out awareness to the community.
These are made by the children for the children, as the potential generated income aims to finance the education and promote community initiative among one another.
Para sa akin, ang galing ay kailangan matuloy kahit na may pandemic. Magandang edukasyon ganda ng pag-asa nila para makaahon sila sa nila, mailabas nila dito. Sa North, ang mga pamilya nila, makakatapos sila. Wala silang aasahan, wala silang pamamana sa kanilang magulang nila kung kayang edukasyon. Salamat po.
Visualize a child seeing their storybooks in the bookstores. Imagine that level of empowerment of not just beating illiteracy, but also serving as an inspiration for other children to read and write.
Even now, during the pandemic, we continue our partnership with our co-learners by providing them with the tools that they need in adapting to distance learning. We have given radio sets and other gadgets that they could utilize for their studies. We also provided them with QR codes that will lead straight to our storytelling videos. And all of these were done by the youth for the future of our planet. That alone gives us hope that so much can be done when we work together. You see, learning is never a journey with an exact destination, but together we will achieve quality education for sustainable development. Once again, this is Ladders to Literacy, championing the future of children one storybook at a time.
All right, thank you so much. And I hear in our chat that there are Okayama University students with us. So actually, we presented this video last year at the ESD Okayama Awards, and we actually won the award. So it's nice to see friends from Okayama University again. And at this point, I will now be sharing my screen. I hope you guys learned something from our little sharing just a while ago. Okay. Are you guys able to see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, this year, about this time last year, we also presented the same presentation in Japan, in during the ESD Okayama Awards, and I'm very honored that even up until this point, that this project is sustaining itself, that we could reach even indigenous people in our country, like the Panay Bukidnon tribe in the Visayas or even the Aitas up in Cagayan. Ladders to Literacy is able to promote a way, like what our previous speaker just mentioned a while ago, learning to live together. We need to ensure that young people, the aging, and all kinds of people are part of the Sustainable Development Goals. These goals were made for them. I believe that these goals were not just meant to brand the university or just to help the the leaders to lead our country, but I think all people from micro communities, from local efforts, all of them should be part of the change. But it raises a problem when these information is not fit for indigenous people or even children, especially when our vision for the goals is that it should belong to everyone. And this is what we wanted to address. We wanted to create storybooks so that the SDGs could be translated into a level that young people could understand. We were very fortunate to have like these children living inside the cemetery to publish their own storybook. It's not enough that you just learn how to read and write, but we wanted to measure it by having them publish an original storybook called Literate Lila. So for example, in Manila North Cemetery, children are no longer looked upon as children. They're looked on as grave diggers or cannibals even. And this causes a rift. And like what I said, poverty does not recognize borders. It also alienates everyone. And I hope that through this simple effort, the children could be remembered as children again. And because these children are not looked upon as children, it affects their overall well being. And it's still estimated in all our statistics that so many children live in the poverty line, and so many children do not know how to read or write or even go to school in the Philippines. And we ranked 79th in reading out of 79 participating countries during the 2018 PISA assessment. But we wanted to create a different way that these children do not just receive information, but they could create the information for fellow children. We wanted them to create storybooks. Because we always take into account the UNCRC and the SDGs, we make sure that children are part of the decision-making process. I think this is a practice among our friends in Japan called Kominkans. These are community centers where children and the aging and youth are given opportunities. And Okayama is a leading city where they have a citywide initiative to address SDGs, where people gain tailor-fit information. And I think that's the beauty of this globalization that we're experiencing right now. It's because we're able to connect each other. We're finally at a point where we try to break down borders. So what's stopping us, right? And I know that the SDGs are difficult to achieve by year 2030, especially the COVID-19 pandemic robbed us of progress. But I don't think it's still impossible. I think we can still make the most out of it and have a fighting chance if everyone is included. And by that, I mean children, the aging, indigenous people, all peoples of minority should no longer be considered a minority so that they will realize that we share a common world. And like what our previous friends, and I'm sure the panel is very interested in this, is because adults also love storybooks because they read storybooks to children. So in this process, the published storybooks also teach parents and adults what are the messages of the storybook, what are the messages of the SDGs to a commoner, to someone who is not in a position to help but is now qualified to help just because the SDGs qualify you. For a long time, I thought that because I wasn't a star student at school, I was incapable of helping. But the SDGs came along my way, and I realized you just have to be you. You just have to be a normal person, and you're really qualified to help each other. And I hope that the SDGs will resonate to our entire planet so that they know that these goals do not discriminate. Everyone can help out. And yeah, like from what in the video, even international storytellers from Brazil joined us in this initiative. And we were able to see the progress. Like they were able to practice what they were publishing in a storybook. So this is a child, they sleep inside the mausoleums, but now they're also cleaning the cemeteries around them because they realize that these trash cause flooding in the community. So when they take out the trash, they take away the flooding. That's how we're assessing the impact of the project. And these are just some programs that were able to help us out. This is a model. I won't really go deep into it. But above all of these recognitions, even we're very thankful for the ESD Okayama Award because it proves that even as students like us, we're still capable of helping out in our own ways. And at the same time, becoming a model of sustainable development for other universities. It was time that university students could also contribute. And then, yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'd love to hear the other speakers. And if you want to learn more about our projects, you could screen capture this page so that you could scan our QR codes to read our storybooks and read our documentation. So thank you so much and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Qjiel. That was amazing presentation. SDGs are powerful, but I do think SDG 4 quality education is something that drives most of the conversation. Especially, Zainal and I have launched the Regional Center of Expertise, which uses quality education as the driving force for all these conversations. And I think you're right. The beauty about SDGs is that they are interconnected. It's kind of this moving away from this siloed thinking, understanding that everything is interconnected. And when you work on one SDG, like say education or poverty, you are impacting other SDGs as well when making progress towards it. And it's such an amazing and inspiring project that you have worked on. Congratulations on the ESD award. That's pretty amazing. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you so much too.
All right, so I think we'll move on to the third panelist. I know we have some Q&A in the chats coming in, but I wanted to keep going with the flow of the conversation, and then we can tackle Q&A after the third presentation from Monica, Ravi, and Qjiel talking about their IGO project. So if you guys want to start.
Thank you, Ms. Tare. I'm actually also part of this. So here we are. So, okay, I'm gonna just start my timer. So, and Qjiel real quick.
Yeah. Can you see the screen now?
Mm-mm.
All right. Okay.
Yes, we can see the
Christiane,
screen.
yes, we can. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
You are a
no
powerful team of
problem.
four.
We're all good. Everything's okay. So I'm gonna just start a timer. So hello everyone. My name is Christiane Marie from Toronto, Ontario, situated on the traditional territories of many nations, including the Haudenosaunee, the Isnibawaki, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and the Wendat Neo-Wencio, and is home to many diverse First Nation, Inuit, and Métis peoples. I am here presenting with my teammates, Qjiel, who is based in the Philippines, Ravi, and Monica. Wave hello, team. We thank the organizers and everyone responsible for this conference for inviting us to talk about local and global community engagement with our lovely panelists. We represent our interdisciplinary student-led initiative, ICO Citizen. We had the opportunity to conduct our collaborative passion project with Vision's Global Empowerment in Sri Lanka and the University of Jaffna. We acknowledge and thank our global partners for the remarkable opportunity. I would like to give a big shout out to the founder and CEO of Vision Sri Lanka, Mr. Mayuran Jivaratnam, and his team, Pravta Dushinathan and Kirtikan, and Mr. Sivakaran from the department head of the University of Jaffna, and also to the student leaders from the pilot program. We see you, we hear you. Thank you so much for being here, especially given the time difference in Sri Lanka. So our SDG of interest is SDG 4 on quality education due to shared agreement on the transformative nature of education. Global citizenship can be defined as a dynamic network of interconnected dimensions of peace and human rights that transcends geographical and political boundaries. This includes advocacy for human rights, globalization and social justice, conflict and peace building, and respect for diversity and sustainability. Global citizenship education is an educational concept that encourages learners to grow in shared solidarity, diversity, and inclusivity for all. This includes the socio-emotional, cognitive, and behavioral learnings that come with character development and growth in critical thinking and active open-mindedness. GSED encourages the ethos of leaving no one behind, which is the central transformative promise of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. I bring it over now to Monica to share what we devised from our Goal Global project.
Thanks, Christian. Okay, so according to the World Bank, 53% of Sri Lankan children in low and middle income countries cannot read and understand simple stories by the end of primary school. Also, 9.9% of children aged 5 to 17 years old do not attend school. And in a 2013 UNICEF study, out of school youths were composed of 37,650 males and 30,537 females. These statistics suggest that Sri Lanka is experiencing an educational crisis. There are also themes of biased government-funded learning materials, which could undermine minorities. And in addition, the issue of shortage of teachers in Sri Lanka working within under-resourced schools becomes a strikingly problematic reality, with 79% of experience from these teachers less than 10%, 10 years of training. Next here, by doing a discourse analysis, by gathering data from journals, school curricula, and government-related documents, we found three key themes that are interrelated to GSED in the Sri Lankan context. These three themes are the following: truth-seeking, that's grounded by critical thinking and peace building; social cohesion, which deals with the care for the well-being of the needs of others; and active citizenship, which is about civic duty and responsibility. These themes are inspired by a case study entitled "The Role of the School Curriculum in Sustainable Peace Building, the Case of Sri Lanka." Now let's hear from Qjiel.
Thanks, Monica. So based on the result of the discourse analysis, we created a program that would gather students to understand the ethos of GSED. So by doing so, they will be aware that their social milieu and the issues that they are facing right now are influenced not only by local factors, but also by global dynamics, since the world is becoming more interconnected. So the IGO Citizen Initiative is a 5-day program where students are encouraged to discuss important societal issues, learn how to organize and manage sustainable social action plans, and become a global citizen who are ready to take action for their local and global communities. However, due to international mobility policies and funding constraints, our pilot program was done in a hybrid format where students were gathered in a conference room and we facilitated through Zoom meetings. Here we could see how technology and the internet help us successfully carry out a comprehensive program and ensure collaboration across different borders despite geographical locations. So for the timeline, after we won the Creative Solution Award at the Go Global Knowledge Fair in March, we attended several conferences and meetings with curriculum planners and organizations to refine our program content. So this is to ensure that our program is context-specific and not imposing on the participant. Concurrent with this, we also submitted documents to York University's research ethics boards to ensure security, sensitivity, and safety of the attendees physically and psychologically. And we did this while working in 3 different time zones, PST, EST, and IST. And although we're proud of our resiliency and creativity to push through with this project, of course, we cannot really glamorize the challenges posed by some bureaucratic factors that almost discourage us to proceed with the implementation. Good thing that assistance from the partners came, sparking our hope and grit to continue with this endeavor. And then we implemented this in September and October. So to help you visualize what happened, I will call Ravi to discuss the partnership processes and the program timeline.
Thanks, Qjiel. In September, the Canadian government removed the travel advisory to travel to Sri Lanka. We decided that I would only be traveling and the rest of the team stay back wherever we were. We implemented this as a hybrid project. I have lived outside of Sri Lanka for almost 30 years, even though I was born and raised in Jaffna. I am a foreigner to them. Already the Tamil community in northern province of Sri Lanka is not ready to openly welcome anything from outside without question or doubt because of their bitter experience with foreign powers, NGOs, and various actors around the globe. In these circumstances, the organization roles such as Visions become essential. It consists of members from the local community working within the local community. Partnering with Visions helped to implement our project successfully. We connected with Visions Global Empowerment Sri Lanka with the help and guidance of our networks. By collaborating with Visions, we implemented our workshop at the University of Jaffna with 42 participants from the Faculty of Arts, most from the Philosophy Department. From day 1 to day 4, I was able to experience a growth in confidence level and continued involvement of participants. These 4 days follow as day 1, social cohesion, day 2, peace building, day 3, active citizenship, and day 4, social action plans. On the last day, day 4, participants were asked to bring 5 action plans from all 5 groups. Now I pass it on to Qjiel.
So yeah, thanks, Ravi. It's an honor to present to you these grounded and well thought out social action plans from our IGO citizen students. So the group Knights of the Table, they created a project that will help equip fresh graduates for employment. It's a career guidance program targeting SDG 8 on decent work and economic growth. Miracle Makers, on one hand, are focused on SDG 9 by limiting car accidents by promoting awareness on the different street signs. And quickly, Tinkers Club focus on SDGs 1 and 2. They research the cause of malnutrition and the lack of food resources in the community. Then their Dragons focus on gender equality, or SDG 5. They research the status of gender discourses in Sri Lanka and the possible practical implications of this to the women and the members of the LGBTQIA community. Lastly, the team Rockstars, they tackled a very important and sensitive topic of drug usage by youth in Sri Lanka connected to SDG 3. So at this point, we are in the process of finding support and funding to help the participants to implement their social action plans in their local communities. And in terms of experience, from the perspective of someone who facilitated the program through a Zoom screen, I am amazed at how seamless the communication was. Everyone was very kind and patient to repeat and speak slowly to understand each other. So collaboration was also evident despite the differences in belief systems and languages. The students eloquently engaged in important discussions with care and sensitivity. And although we experienced technical difficulties such as internet and power cuts, we were all agile enough to adjust accordingly with the help of our partners on ground, which includes Vision. So Ravi will now share his experience and lesson learned on ground.
Thank you, Qjiel. Connecting with local people or organization is very essential. Local community members listen and trust people from their community until they have enough reason to trust our intention. A few lessons learned include support locally by purchasing food and available transportation, shelter, and similar from those in the communities. Network with local communities who can support our program. By using social media to post about what we are doing, even a couple of posts or photos make it enough to become a subject of discussion among our social media followers. Be sensitive to the context. Communities like Meghna, which suffered more than 3 decades of war and encountered loss of lives, almost at least one in each family, carry colossal trauma. As a member of the same community, I can preach peace building to them, since no reasonable or countable reconciliation initiatives are happening to build sustainable peace within the communities. Finally, don't judge, be open and courageous to talk, listen to their stories. I will now pass it on to Christiane.
Thank you so much, Ravi, for sharing all of your insights. With the culmination of our pilot program, we had the opportunity to quantify a few insights gathered from our undergraduate participants over the 5 days, a few of which we'll share today. With Vision's Global Empowerment, we created 5 self-reported questionnaires. The first was a baseline questionnaire on self-reported awareness of the SDGs and GSED. With a sample size of 42, 17 students agree and 10 strongly agree with the prompt as having prior awareness of the SDGs, as pictured on the pie chart. We also asked students on a 10-point scale the prompt, I see myself as a global citizen. Results indicate that 29 participants reported somewhat to strongly agree with ratings 8.0 and above. So notice the many handprints. And a post-program questionnaire was administered to know overall thoughts on the program experience. One question asked, the activities and discussions were engaging and thoughtful, allowing me to think critically about my positionality and intersectionality in the world. Although with a response rate of 16, results indicate strong positive sentiments at almost 63%. Our team continues to compose, revise, and submit a technical document providing all available details from the pilot program. Results will be shared with Vision's Global Empowerment and our upcoming Knowledge Hub through Google Sites. Our next steps following our project reports include the potential implementation of a context-specific GSED program in the Philippines, and also reaching other universities or extracurricular school programs in Sri Lanka for continued momentum. We call for interested sponsors and volunteers from all around to share in the coming stages of planning and later implementation. So with that, we thank you, viewers, for your time and attention. All 27 of you, we see you. Thank you so much. We are the IGO Citizen Initiative. Please give us a shout at our IGO Citizen email listed and give our website a view. In solidarity, let's transform the conversation into active global citizenship. Thank you so much. We hand it over to you, Ms. Tare.
Thank you so much, Christiane. That was amazing. I really love the fact that you have assigned different SDGs, throughout your project. The fact that partnership for the goal or innovation, that's really helpful. And the fact that you have an impact report is really amazing, because I think what you cannot measure, you cannot improve. So knowing that, so many students were impacted, actually, when you try to replicate it with other universities across the region, I think it gives you the power to improve and build upon the success of your program. So that's really amazing. Beautiful project. Thank you so much for sharing. I know we have tons of questions coming in the chat. So Helen, can you guide me on how since we have 10 minutes, how we can take the Q&A that are in the chat session?
I think I saw a couple of questions there, so I feel like we just float it to whoever wants to jump.
I can't hear you well, Helen. Can you speak up, or your mic?
Can you hear me? So yeah. I think there are a couple of questions there, and so my suggestion is to float it whoever wants to address within the 10 minutes that we have.
Okay. And how do I find the questions? Is it in chat or polls, or?
It's in the QA.
Okay.
QA.
All right. Got it.
Those two first questions are asked to Mariano, I guess.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
There's a question that says that when you measure the children's literacy rates after this project and or review the results, what did your team find? I think this is for Qjiel.
Yeah, so thank you so much. So we found out that young people still don't realize the bigger issues in the world, and I think that's okay because children have to be children first, and they don't really need to think about the world's problems. But an initiative by the SDSN called Global Schools is trying to change that. They try to make a curriculum guide for K to 12 students of how they're going to introduce SDGs in the curriculum. And I think that's a wonderful way because for us, when the SDGs were agreed upon on 2015, us high school and university students didn't understand what the SDGs were. But Global Schools is now making it possible for younger generations to understand that in school. And I think that's what we learned after measuring the literacy rates is that if you're able to teach them the value to love education, to become lifelong learners, they'll eventually embrace the SDGs in their own way.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think this question is for Zainal. There is the comment is that I agree that the students need and enjoy experiential learning. However, setting up these kinds of projects seems to take a lot of time and efforts, and sort of collaboration and cooperation from the instructors. So, what do you guys suggest the instructors to prepare to facilitate these kinds of EL programs with the limitations that they have? You're muted, Zainal. Can't hear you.
I'm not actually on my side.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I was actually telling you that I would like to respond to this one. Yes, at the end of the day, it depends quite significantly on the lecturers or the facilitators of the programs. Yeah, so we've got that problem. I mean, gathering 100 of them is not an easy thing to call them to work on this because none of them is having community engagement background or sustainable development background. But what we do is really working on them the why of doing this thing, because engagement is something that on daily basis, that's what they're doing too. So we're just calling the insight of them that those subject that they teach in the classroom in preparation, what need to be prepared among the students may not necessarily match. So we tell the instructors that everyone talk.
Oh, we lost him.
Disconnected, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's okay.
Yeah.
I think he'll connect back. But I think there's one more question. This is for the mighty team of 4 with Christiane, Ravi. You guys really did an awesome presentation, and I think this question, since it came in last, I think it's for you. It says that I'm impressed that the project is engaging the people in the community. I agree that building trust with the community is crucial in pursuing this type of initiative. What cross-cultural trainings do you provide to the project members?
if I may, Christiane, team, I can take this question. Our partners, Visions Global Empowerment, they're actually experienced group in facilitating teachers training, cross-cultural projects, such as partnering with the British Council for different local activities. So the facilitators that we had also serve as mentors, facilitator mentor for the different groups. So they will be guided in the formulation of their social action plans so that it will be tangible and also context specific. In the initial plan for our team, we're trying to see if we as the facilitators or the project builders can be the facilitators, but then we realized that it's better to have like a very context specific, those who are knowledgeable who had like cross-cultural trainings as mentioned, to facilitate and be a mentor for this specific teams. So yeah.
Thank you. I guess we have 5 minutes, so I can have one question that kind of summarizes the conversation for all of us and also gives us something to think about and ponder as we try to replicate these models in our region within the challenges that we all face. So, my questions to all the panelists is, what lessons have you learned and what needs to change? I mean, we are empowering students, but at some point they are going to leave this bubble and, they graduate. So how do you empower them for this community engagement that continues post graduation after they have moved on into the real world? The last panel wants to take it first.
Would you like to? I think Rabbi wants to answer.
No, go ahead. You, Chao, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. For us, it's something that's the thing is we're living in different part of the world, so it's kind of difficult to maintain that momentum or that good communication with each other. So I know it may sound too idealistic, but it's really the passion to do something and contribute to the endeavor of SDG is what kept us going despite the difficulty in time zones, for example. So maybe what I would suggest is to, for the sustainability of this project, is to keep monitoring, like for us, our team, keep monitoring the social action plans and make sure that they have partners who can support them financially in terms of funding and stuff like that. So it will not die down after one implementation or something. So yeah, that's for me. So maybe something that we could learn from this experience is to, again, I mentioned it in the presentation, is to not glamorize the resiliency of the teams, and as much as possible be hands-on in monitoring their progress for the project. So I guess that's my 2 cents
That's
for the
perfect.
question.
No, that's perfect. Qjiel, would you like to take it next and have some closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think like this panel, this very esteemed panel, and as well as universities all over the world, we have this social responsibility to teach sustainable development. Before, it was the Millennium Development Goals that everyone was prioritizing, but eventually by 2030, who knows what it will be called. But higher education institutions have that platform, like what our Sir Zainal said a while ago, that they reach indigenous communities in Malaysia, and they allow students to go there because of their programs, and they have a reflective journal to see how their progress is. And I think that's how universities should work. I think when they're gearing us towards employment or to chase the careers we want, we have to choose the calling that could help out as much as we can. I think this is what we call ikigai, like something you could be recognized for, something you could be paid for, something you really love doing, and all of that will be realized through the SDGs. And I think, yeah, higher education institutions should work together through global partnerships to achieve that.
That's very inspiring. Thank you, Kate. I know, yeah, people usually try to focus on their purpose after having run the rat race later in life. It's like, what am I doing? And I think having that kind of awakening, very beginning, makes you for much powerful impact, especially through education for all of us in the academic section. Zainal, you have the last word. We were just trying to figure out how do you keep the flame going? How do you encourage and inspire the students when they graduate to teach whatever they have learned and give back to the community and be part of the community?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got lost just now somehow. Cut
That's
off.
okay.
Yeah, all
That's
right.
okay.
So my selling point to the students now is that I keep on reminding them that the experiential learning that they go through the project is the one that the companies will be asking for instead of their degree thing, because they know very well that with COVID, whatever change, people will not be asking about their technical knowledge. People will be looking at their soft skills. And with that, so far, thank God, it buy into them because they realize that they won't get that in the classroom. So I keep on reminding them, go to the ground, tell the companies that you've done these projects with the community, and the skill will come naturally. So that's my best selling point to them now.
Thank you so much. I think we are right on time. We made it with engaging conversations, powerful stories, and a lot of humor. Thank you so much for being part of this panel and for inspiring us and sharing the information. I hope everybody else can learn from your projects, and I sure will try to replicate it here in Dallas, Texas, at the University of Texas at Arlington. Thank you so much to York University, to Charles, Helen, Katrine, and Mario for organizing these wonderful sessions, and thank you all for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Take care.
Meghna, for facilitating this.
Absolutely. I loved it. It was an honor. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah.